Like I said, what I'm going to do to set you up for this experience is this is a demonstration of me channeling Archangel Michael.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to talk about how I connect to him energetically at the beginning. Is this a good time to do the demonstration,
Yes,
Raman? Is this
let's
good?
do it.
Yes?
I'd be
Okay.
honored. Yeah.
All right. Now, to your soul and really forge a strong relationship with your soul. To get to know that presence that is so there. Duality matters to you because what you have to give is important. I urge you all to see your value, not just now as I am speaking it.
Hi, all. Welcome back to the Mystical Davies channel. This is my YouTube channel. And also, if you're here listening to me on Spotify, welcome. Please make sure to also watch this episode today because we have such a beautiful guest today who is so special in so many beautiful ways. And she's a channeler. She's one of the first people that I met who channeled these beautiful energies that you could just feel were pure light, pure love, and just a resonance of truth. And that's how I can tell in my body if something is, just full of so much truth, as if there's resonance here. And she was one of those first channelers I met who, had this energy in such a powerful way. So today I have Diana Muenz Chen. She is a channeler, a healer, and an educator. She began channeling professionally in 1986 and has loved the personal growth, insight, and unconditional love her spirit guides consistently have given her and her clients. It's truly life changing. In 1988, the Open Heart Channeling School was founded to assist others in experiencing the richness of the spirit realm. Both Archangel Michael and Diana lead the beginning workshops and ongoing channeling classes. They believe that everyone can learn the skill of channeling and greatly benefit from it. To demystify contact with the spirit realm and to help develop a clear connection, Diana and her guides authored the groundbreaking textbook, Channeling the Heart and the Art, which offers guidance on connecting with your soul, spirit guides, archangels, ascended masters, and much more. The text spans from basic information to the professional level with so many exercises included. It's a great book, and I'll link it down below. Some highlights of Diana's professional career are for 2 years has taught Anatomy of the Soul workshop to psychology graduate students at Columbia University and has starred in an NBC primetime special with the anchorwoman Sue Simmons and has been interviewed in Kevin Moore's They Call Us Channelers docuseries. And with that, I would like for you to welcome the beautiful Diana. Hi, Diana. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah.
Yes. So, like I said, you've done so much beautiful work. Where did channeling start for you? I guess we'll start there.
So 1983,
Mm,
I'm in New York City and I'm studying musical theater.
mm.
And I was uh, taking a class, and one of my classmates said, "Why don't you come to this seance I go to?"
Wow.
And I was always interested in psychic things. Yeah. And so I went with my friend, and I really loved it. The gentleman who was leading the group was called Clifford Bias, and he's sort of the granddaddy of a lot of mediums and channels in New York. And actually, presidents and people like that would come to him for readings. So he was the real
Incredible.
deal. And I sat with him for 2 years. And Raman, I was in this group where people were connecting to the spirit world. We were all sitting in a circle with Clifford. They were connecting the spirit world. They were giving each other messages, and I got nothing. Sometimes I'd even fall asleep in the middle of the class, whether I drank coffee or, I took a nap. So what was happening was, for me, I really wanted to develop the skill. I wanted to be able to connect to the spirit world. It intrigued me. And so I began to work every morning for an hour, very dedicated. I have to say that, very dedicated for a couple of years working on that. And in 1985, I took a channeling class. And as I was exploring this, I connected to one of my guides and I could channel. Now, my classmates didn't know that I had taken 2 years of really diligently working on opening my psychic ability, on getting calmer, quieting the mind, all of that good stuff that acts as a cornerstone for channeling. And so I opened up and it was wonderful. The feeling of connecting to a guide and knowing that it was a separate being from me was just an amazing experience. It just was amazing to me. And from there on, I would work on it. I would practice getting that skill more well developed. Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I can feel the energy of that, like how exciting it must have been to tune into that. One of the reasons I really love you, Diana, is that you are such a grounded channeler. And I feel like, in a world where, things don't seem like they are what, people can claim to be and all of that, how were you able to kind of sort through the noise of what's real and what wasn't real in the spirit realm, right? Because I think sometimes making those distinctions can be so hard for new folks. Because I'm also a channeler, and I definitely agree with you. Practice is perfect. Like, kind of sit with yourself, meditate, bring in the energies. But I'm curious how you kind of guided yourself through that as someone who's a channeler and teaches channeling to others. How can they kind of watch out for the pitfalls?
Yes. Well, I can think of one instance to start this discussion. It's a big question, Roman.
I'm so
It's got a
sorry.
lot of, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's got this is very rich territory for your listeners, I feel.
Mm,
So, how I teach, I just want to start with this. How I teach channeling is not kind of the regurgitated information from a lot of other channeling teachers.
mm,
It's from my own experience.
mhm,
I've been an energy worker at heart. I went to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing for 4 years and then I taught there. And it was really, you know, um, a big deal in that school to be grounded, to be
mm,
centered in yourself, to work on your inner self so you let go of your issues and you could be a stronger, clearer channel, a stronger, clearer healer. And so, that was sort of my beginning of my journey that way. And when I went to her school, Barbara Brennan had incredible clairvoyance. And at one point, I was doing a healing in this room with my hands. I was standing up as the healer with my hands on the client she was on a massage table. And our spirit guides, healers, were supposed to be coming through our right hand to the client. And Barbara was looking at me and she said, Diana, your guides are coming through your left arm and hand. And it was then I realized, as a teacher, for me as a channeling teacher, that I needed to develop the skills of confirming for students what they're doing, because what Barbara did for me was incredible. Because then I started to believe that what was happening was real, that I was able to sense what was going on with the spirit world. And so when we teach, Archangel Michael and I have the Open Heart Channeling School, and when we teach channeling, we bring in the grounding element. We ground before and after people, connect to spirit. And we talk about journaling, we talk about inner process work. And really, for Michael and I, Archangel Michael and I, the real work as channels is to get our ego out of the way, to surrender, to trust the spirit world. And that's a process. It's just like trusting a human being. We have to really learn to open up to spirit and to work on our psychic abilities. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but also, to get guidance and to trust the guidance. Now, it's always up to us if we want to follow the guidance we receive. You probably can relate to this, right? We get guidance and then it's up to us if we want to follow it. So it's important because we make the final decision in our own lives. That's But there's been so many instances that for me as a teacher that, my guides have given me to help me to understand the spirit world is real. And this is not fantastical things. I try to stay away from sensationalizing this kind of thing because it's done so much, in other ways, with ghosts and, there's just so much going on TikTok and other platforms that, make the work not as sacred as I feel it needs to be. I feel this work with spirit is sacred because there's such an incredible amount of energy, unconditional love, guidance, so much that we can learn from the spirit world.
Right.
And so my teachers, they gave me lessons that were actually materializing things, doing things that might be considered miracles, but for me it was about them teaching me that they exist and for me to be able to teach students that they exist. That's so important. Were you going to say something, Robin? No?
No, I mean,
Okay.
that's so beautiful. You're on such a roll. I mean, today I'm just going to be listening because Diana has so much beautiful wisdom. I'm going to guide the process, but anytime you need to speak, Diana, absolutely go on a roll. But I wanted to say, I think one thing I wanted to point out is you're saying it's a relationship like any other we have in our life that we're building upon with the spirit world. It's a friendship. Just like, there are some bad friends and bad energies, maybe that's not, you want to build a relationship with that. But if it's a good relationship, you want to work on it. You want to practice boundaries and have and treat that relationship like a sacred container, like you would a
Yes,
friendship, a dear friendship. That's so beautiful. I love how you are, really helping your students create a safe container. And that's what you did for me the first time I sat with you. And I'm sorry, I'm like an emotional person, so I think they've seen me cry here before, but it's usually when I'm very deeply touched. But that's so important that you've done that and that you continue to do that because I think we need guides to help us. And that's what you're saying is that you help people kind of build that relationship from a place of like really knowing what you're doing as a teacher and how to hold the space.
exactly. And
Mhm.
you're touching me by saying that, Raman. I'm going to cry now.
Oh,
It's touching me. Um, you know, yeah, for me as a teacher, to be there for the student, to help them to get confirmation that they need, because especially at the beginning, people get nervous. They think they're making things up. They don't think they're getting things correctly, and they question everything and second guess everything. And so, for me as a teacher, to be able to confirm things for them is, like I said, invaluable, like what Barbara Brennan did for me.
mm,
And it's true, there are all kinds of beings in the spirit world. It's just like the world here. And, what you brought up is kind of the example I use when I teach. When we build a relationship with our guides, it's like building a relationship with a close friend. And that's why we really recommend when people first start to connect to the spirit world, they connect with just one of their guides and they build a trusting relationship with that guide and they gain confidence as
mm,
they work with that one being. And trust is not built in one day. We know that because when we build a close friendship, a loving relationship, it takes time, to get to know the person, to
absolutely.
trust them. And so, really, it is a relationship. It's great what you said. That's very true. And I learned that the hard way. I will tell you a story. Um, I started to learn mediumship, which evidential mediumship,
Mm,
about 5 years ago. Yeah. And this is connecting to loved ones who've passed. And I enlisted a spirit guide, Raphael, who's known as a doorkeeper. And that's someone, he can help me to kind of organize those who've passed, for them to know in the spirit world what my needs are as a medium. And so Raphael would come to me and I would say, okay, now, Raphael, I need them to do this. I need them to come one at a time. I need them to merge with me in a certain way. And at one point, we did that several times. And then at one point, Raphael came to me and he said, Diana, don't you want to know how I'm doing? And I was like, oh my
wow.
God, he's a conscious, independent being from me who has feelings, who has a life, maybe not in the body. And so I was treating him sort of like demanding, asking. And that's what really brought up then for me to teach in the school that
Mhm.
it's a two-way street,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And that brought up also my guides wanting me to do things for them, teach
Mhm.
certain classes. I just taught a grounding class for students. Michael thought that people needed that in our community, and and so on. So it's really honoring what my guides want too. And
Wow.
I did actually an interview for a documentary last weekend, and Michael, he doesn't always show up for these groups. I have to say that. He
Mm.
doesn't always show up to do a demonstration, but he would like to do that, for your viewers, and to speak.
Wow.
So I'll talk about how he connects to me energetically, emotionally, what goes on inside of me, honestly, step by step. So everybody can see it's not, it's kind of like when you watch a swan on a lake, the swan is just gliding along. But if you looked at underneath the swan, what they're doing underwater, they're pedaling fast. It's this kind of, when people witness channeling, it's this smooth thing. But there can be other things that go on for us as channels behind the scenes. And that's where we work a lot. Archangel Michael and I were students. It's like letting go of the fear, working with the anxiety. What does it mean to let go, to trust, to surrender? Do you do that in your life? Are you vulnerable in your life? Because channeling is very vulnerable. Like, to channel Michael, I have to go over a threshold of being afraid, of confronting my fear before I totally let go for him to talk, because I never know what he's going to say or what he's going to do. So,
Beautiful. Wow. We are so blessed, first of all, to have Archangel Michael really wanting to come through today. And I think what you're speaking on is how it's a collaborative relationship. It's kind of like an infinity loop, right? It nourishes you, it nourishes them. Um,
yes.
I guess before we jump into that, my question is, when was the first time you heard Michael as your guide? Like, how was that feeling? I could only imagine how that felt.
Yes. I had to really grow. Honestly, I had to really grow as a channel to be able to hold Michael, because Michael's energy blends with my energy field. That's very common for us channels.
Yeah.
And Michael is so high in vibration, Raman, that it was like, so I'm taking you back to the 1990s. And it's when around the time Shirley MacLaine's book came out, Out
Mm,
on a Limb, and it really started to present channeling to the mainstream folks, because she was consulting with Kevin Ryerson, who was a channel, and she wrote about it in her
mm,
book. So channeling became very popular. It was a fad. But aside from that, what happened for me is I would channel for a group of people every week, and I
mm,
would channel beings that I knew that had integrity, that wanted to teach spiritual stuff to this group. And at one point, Michael came in and he just kind of touched my crown chakra. And I was so undeveloped at the time, my whole body kind of shook and
mm.
I got sick to my stomach. Now I've realized from that time, when I get sick to my stomach, it's because energy's bouncing up against blocks in my third chakra around my stomach area.
Yeah.
So I've realized that. And so I worked with Michael a lot, Raman. through doing psychotherapy, through doing, many, many things to help me to get to the point where I released
Mm,
energy. I went to the healing school. I went to core energetics therapy school. I've done a lot of schools,
mm,
somatic experiencing. And in the course of these schools, I had to work on myself. There was, group therapy time regularly. There was work on myself, getting healings a lot, clearing blocks, journaling, really being honest with myself as much as I could. And as I did that work, the blocks, the things that prevented Michael from blending with me
mm.
more started to clear. And now I can channel him much more fully, which is a joy because I will tell you, I love my work. I just love what I do. And connecting the spirit world is just so beautiful and so happy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you probably can relate to that too, right? When you
Oh my
connect.
gosh.
Yeah, right?
When you were speaking again, I'm getting emotional because like the path of, I don't know if you resonate with this word, the healer, the channeler is so deep if you're taking it step by step the way that you did, which is you really have to unravel and let spirit all the way in, right? And let the light all the way in. And it takes you on the path of the reason why I got emotional because I can tell how beautifully you took yourself on that path through the psychosomatic work and all these beautiful healing modalities because you really wanted to sit with this energy. And I think that's what people forget is that by working on yourself, you naturally become the teacher and the channel, right? Like it is the path most of the times, to clear yourself as a channel.
Yes.
Um, and that's one point. The other point is I love how much channelers and healers, if you really love the work, how much you love the mystery and how much you love to be in that spiritual energy because it's so life-giving. And
Yeah.
that's my next question to you because I know how it's benefited me. And I remember coming to you in my early 20s. I think I was very, very, very young at the time. And I was scared, I was anxious, but I had this inner knowing. I've always been spiritual. I always knew that I was going to go on a big transformative journey and I was going to continue doing this work and that this was my path. And I kept coming back because it made me feel good, even though I was facing darker aspects sometimes. Like you said, when the light hits, it also kind of bumps into the shadows. So it can loosen it up a little
Yes.
bit. Right. And so you can unlayer,
Yes.
unlayer, unlayer, and there's no fear around it. It's just work and feeling and being. So I want to hear
Yeah.
from you. How does it benefit you? And what were some fear blocks that you had around it?
Yeah.
Mm,
Um, well, you know, Archangel Michael has challenged me through the years with my ego
mm,
and how I look to people. Couple examples, working with my fear and my fear of how people see me, if they like me or not, those kind of things, going down that road, which is not helpful for me to help others, I just kind of got to get myself out of the way. But with Archangel Michael, what's happened is when I would channel for a group of people, we conduct classes, Archangel Michael and I, and he would say words that didn't mean, that weren't kind of a word that was going with what he was trying to say. And he was challenging me,
mm,
Diana, are you going to not let me say this because of your ego,
mm,
So he challenged me about that. And then at one point, this was last year, it was a very powerful lesson for me to trust the spirit world. I
mm,
had some sessions with clients. Typically, the client likes their session with us, the private sessions. They get something out of it. They get
mm.
confirmation sometimes or a sense of direction or things, good stuff like that. I had two clients where they didn't like the session
Oh,
and they were very, not happy at the end.
mm,
And so, and Michael conducted these sessions. and worked with them with healing and speaking to them.
Mm,
So afterwards, came back to Michael and I said, I was nervous, I was scared, I was angry at
mm,
him. And he said, Diana, who do you trust here?
mm,
Do you trust that I gave them what they needed? He said, this is what I want you to do. You need to trust me
mm,
because his work, Raman, is getting deeper with people. There's no doubt about it. I see that. And I have to really keep my ego at bay in the back. I always tell my students channeling is like this waterfall of guidance coming through, this beautiful energy from spirit.
mm.
And we're in the back watching the waterfall, not sticking our hands in the waterfall to interfere or
Right.
damming up. We have to get out of the way. And that's really what we teach in the open art channeling school is what I call semi-conscious channeling. We
Mm,
are there, we are present. I hear Archangel Michael say his words. I may not remember when I come back what he said,
mhm,
but I'm present there. I don't leave, my consciousness doesn't leave my body to channel. Yeah.
mm,
And so with that semi-conscious, we can interfere. And so it's about getting out of the way. And the biggest part of the work for channels is to get out of the way of the channeling. The
mm,
guides always say, if I say the grass is green, I want you to write down the grass is green, not the sky is blue.
mm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Clarity.
right. Like trusting the word that's coming through because you don't know
Yes.
how it's going to make sense with people. And thank you so much for being like vulnerable about that because I've had that too when people don't quite like,
Oh,
or, even in therapy, when I practice therapy, we always say sometimes some sessions work for clients, other times they don't. And, there's a different type of healing modality for each person, but that doesn't mean they didn't get what they needed, right, in that session.
yes.
And so it's our job to do what we've practiced and what we feel is right and what we feel like is in resonance and in love. And it sounds like you're
Yes.
really teaching folks that you have to work through a lot of the ego to allow it to flow through like it is, like in its
Yes.
purest form. That's
Yes.
so beautiful. I'm like so blessed that you're doing this work. And what are some common roadblocks that your students have faced? I mean, one's the ego, right? One's
Yes.
I know for me it's like I said, I still deal with anxiety, right? Like even before I hop on these, like I can feel a little bit of anxiety, but when I invite
Yes.
in spirit and I invite in the highest light, like I feel calm. Like right now I'm
Yes.
calm, right? So I'm curious, what are some things that your students come up against and you were so vulnerable about your own?
Well, a lot, many people, well, there are a couple things. Um, First off, people tend to feel like they're making it up.
Right.
They second guess the guidance. The guidance typically they get is good.
Mhm.
However, they fuss with it afterwards. They don't
Mm,
believe it or they think it's just a platitude or they don't quite get the the intensity of it or the meaning of it. And really guidance can be very simple, Raman.
mm,
Some people they expect these long sentences or a lot of incredible guidance, but
mm,
in our school, and particularly Archangel Michael, he's made it very clear that it's more about quality than quantity. I will tell you that when I was going to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, probably one of the most impactful messages I got from my guides was one word. I was going in to be graded on a skill.
mm,
That's what they did. You had to like get graded and pass a skill to go on to the next skill. So I was going to
mm.
get graded and I was nervous. It's like, school, you get tested. It's like
Of course.
nervous making.
Yeah.
So I'm going into the room and my guide said, relax.
Oof.
That's all they said. But it was the timing of it, it was the energy of it, and it was the love of it. And it was just like, wow, yes, yes,
Mm,
you know?
mm. Thank
Yeah.
you. And it's also the frequency, right? Like they are, when they're there for us, it's like there's a frequency coming through those words. There's like like a collective of beautiful energy that swirls through, right? If you're sensitive enough, you can pick that up. I don't know if
Yes.
most students feel that way because I am not teaching channeling like you are, which I think is, maybe the next step in a few years. I need to first, just like be in the flow of it. But yeah, I'm just curious, like, how do different people feel the energy? So like for you, just that word comes in, right? And relax, boom, that's what you need. That's
Mhm.
what your system needs. How else do you feel Archangel Michael come through? And do you feel other guides too? And we can answer those questions separately. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know your viewers, I wanted to come back to the psychic abilities because I
Yes.
want to pick up that thread that I didn't explain from before. And that's
Yes.
sort of, our interface with the spirit world is our psychic ability.
Mm,
So I have taken the time and worked on my psychic ability. It's not something that happens overnight. And when people take basic workshops with us, we teach them how to do that. So how to discern that flow and what you were talking about, how to really discern the waterfall coming through. And so, we have our different psychic abilities, and how to develop them is to use them every day, honestly. It's not something that you just do once a week when you meditate. That's not going to work.
yes.
So what I tell people to do, yeah, what's that?
I'm like clapping,
Oh,
claps for that because I agree with you. Totally agree with you. It changed my relationship with channeling, just getting up and even doing it for 4 or 5 minutes, but every day sitting, it builds the energy. Yeah.
yes, right. And
Mhm.
built the energy where you sit. And that's
Mhm.
so important because it draws you in then more into meditating and connecting spirit world where you sit every time. But every day what I tell students is that, so you go check your phone and you read a text from a friend, you know, your focal point always with psychic ability is you want to connect to something and then you receive the energy from it. The receiving is very important. Our imagination is more like kind of projecting it outward. Okay.
Right.
But when we actually get information psychically, it's about coming to us.
Mm,
We have to receive it. And so we have to relax and receive it, not have expectations or ideas of what we're going to get. So you see a text from a friend on your phone, sense it, allow the energy from your friend to come to you. What was your friend feeling when she wrote that? Right? Or your
beautiful.
dog hops up on your bed or your cat hops up. What's their energy feel like?
Mm,
What do you see? Your focal point is your animal companion. You let their energy field come to you. You
mm,
go for a walk outside, nature, sense the trees, focal point the trees. I want to sense the tree. You let the energy of the tree come back to you. It's over and over and over again. You're going to a building. There's elevator banks. Which elevator is coming up? Feel it. You're in the grocery store. You hold two oranges, one in each hand. Which orange has more energy in it? What do you
mm,
sense? What do you see, feel, hear, know? So it's not just, one, like clairvoyance is very much, um, you know, kind of the focal point for a lot of folks. But I will tell you, clairsentience is the master clair, the
mm,
master psychic ability, because you cannot reproduce it. So, Raman, if I said to you, okay, now get chills in your body, or feel a warmth, a buzz, and a warmth in your chest,
mhm,
or a cool breeze on your face. Those are all common clairsentient feelings people get as a response from spirit guides or from energy coming to them. But if we try to reproduce it, we can't. But if it comes with the
mm,
spirit world, it really
mhm.
confirms more that they're there, right?
Ah,
Yeah. I kind of
absolutely.
lost track about what you asked me. What did
No,
you ask
I
me?
love that you followed back to the psychic thread because I agree with you. I think absolutely everything you're saying is just so much beautiful nuggets of wisdom there. Is that be aware and open to the subtle realms is what you're saying. Like be open
Yes.
to because everything has life force energy, in the Vedic tradition you call it the kundalini, the life force. Like
Yes.
everything is pulsating with that, even inanimate things, but at certain degrees, right? So you can feel what's emanating from what, and just tuning your channel to that can bring you closer to feeling and creating space for these different relationships with these different beings of light.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you just Yeah, you're speaking my language here. Yeah, I tell people, there's always two tracks going on. Our physical right now, you and I are talking, we see each other, we hear each other, we
Mm,
feel this, the chair. And then there's the energy world that's right there too. You know, we see it as space and time. It's really not. But, there's beings around us, our spirit guides, our loved ones,
mhm.
and it just takes us
Yes, yeah.
kind of modulating our energy field. That's what we do. We expand our energy field in order to contact those beings. Yeah,
Oh, so beautiful. I know we speak the same language. I think that's why
we do.
I loved you years ago when I met you while I was a student at Columbia University. And thank Goddess for my professor who introduced me to you. Because I do think there was just this like energetic resonance and how grounded you were and how you're able to provide language for the subtle realms, and that's so hard to do. And I'm so happy that that's your mission on this planet too, is to bring language. And again, I'm going to get teary-eyed because I think it's such a blessing what you do. It's to bring language and safety around doing this work. um and I guess my other question was like, there are so many beings that we can connect to, right? Like I can connect to a lot of the goddess beings from all traditions. It's so easy for me to bring
Yes.
them in and call them in. And I have a beautiful relationship with different guides, right? So how is that for you connecting with different guides? Is it only Archangel Michael? I know it isn't. You spoke about Raphael, but just to kind of get the viewer thinking about the different types of relationships you have with different guides or loved ones who have crossed over and yeah.
Yes. We have guide teams. All of us have guide teams.
Mm,
And we can connect to deities such you talked about, goddesses and things like that. For me, I'll talk personally about my team, and it's taken me years to get to know them. So I want to
mm,
say that to everybody. It takes a while. And at the beginning, we always tell people, like I said before, to just stay with one guide and
mm-hmm,
get to know them and build your skills with that guide. And then you can branch out to other guides.
mm,
And when you connect to your team, you have to be focused as a channel. All right. We have to be focused on, we want this one being at the other end of the line, the phone line. Okay. At the beginning. That's very important. Now, for me, with my guide team, I've talked about Archangel Michael, and he wants to come in soon. So we'll
oh
have
my
to honor
gosh,
that.
I can't
Yeah,
wait.
yes. So we'll
Please.
have to make that shift. But I want to answer you've asked great questions. Um, so there's Archangel Michael. He and I share the same purpose. It's teaching people, spiritually and also how to channel both elements in people's lives and giving healing to them. Then I have a guy, Daniel, and Daniel's all about business. All right. I'm not a
Mm.
businesswoman. So he helps me with the business end of things. I have a joy guide, my first guide I've ever channeled. When I talked about that class in 1985, she came and she was just a delight because I was so serious back then. And she is so happy and fluffy and bouncy. And her name is Holly. So I have Holly, and Holly presents like a little girl, but she is not. She's a wise old spirit, but her energy is just all bouncy and happy. So that's Holly. And then I have, let's see, who else do I want to talk about? Well, there's a lot of archangels I've connected to recently because we're doing a series of healing groups. And so there's Archangel Metatron, Ariel, and also um, Gabriel. And so we've started a Heal the Earth group, which is a free group. And, people can join. You can email me to join the group. And it's about healing the planet. We do 10 minutes of healing every day on a particular aspect of the planet that the archangels have chosen. And we have two support groups a month on Zoom. Anybody can join. So that's happening. But anyway, so those archangels I become more familiar with because of the Heal the Earth group, and because this is what they wanted us to do, is to teach this kind of, to have this kind of group where people could help the earth, because the earth is, she needs our help right now because there's so much going on. Well, so much going on for us human beings, but also on the earth. So now I talk with students about building a roadmap of the spirit world. So I talked about all these different beings, and then I connect to the divine. and I connect to my soul. Each of these energies I experience with my psychic abilities differently. And
Mm.
that's how you start to discern what energy you're connected to, what being you're connected to when you channel, when you reach out to the spirit world. Archangel Michael, when I do the demonstration, you'll see, but I see his light, I feel his heart, I feel his wings on my back, okay, on my shoulder blades. I feel expanded, and then he comes in more, sits me up straight, and then he starts to talk. So that's my experience of Michael. But is that Holly? No. Holly is this high voiced being. She zooms in from this side, she zooms in. She talks all, kind of fast and very happy and makes jokes, and she zooms out. And that's, I feel her kind of presence. I hear her voice on this side of me. Daniel is more in the front here, and he's calm, he's centered, he's very grounded as a spirit guide could be, and he makes a lot of sense. He's very logical, very practical. And God, is more this vast energy that feels so beautiful. And I can get totally lost in it and feel enraptured in it, bliss in it, and that's different from the other energies. So you see, I think you get the idea that as we connect to the spirit world, we build this roadmap. What am I connecting to now? And that's important for us. Because, like you said earlier, and I agree with you, there's all kinds of beings out there. They're
Mm.
just star. And so I want to say one more thing about that. You know, every time that Michael and I teach a group, someone always asks about, well, what happens with these undeveloped beings, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And, I say to them, well, I'm a New Yorker, okay? At
Mm-hmm.
least I used to be in New York a lot. That's how we met, you and I.
Yes, we
And
did.
yeah, and I say to people, well, you're on the subway or you're on a bus, and maybe there's someone that's, a little bit crazy and they're ranting and raving and they look disheveled and stuff, and you're not going to go and sit real close to them and make friends with them, right? No, not. So you
Mm.
don't do that in the spirit world. You want to know who you're connecting to, just like on the phone, you call a good friend or you text them, you want to connect to the good guys in the spirit world. That's what we want. That's what
Right.
feeds and nurtures us.
Mm.
It makes no sense to want to connect to something else.
Yeah.
But, if people do, then, there's things to handle that. But,
Mm.
and in our channeling book, we talk about that. We have 2 chapters about that kind of
Mm.
stuff. But, just to bring us back to a higher vibration. Yes, I know Michael. So now Michael, spatially, he stays, yeah, up above here in front of me when we do any kind of work together. So he doesn't have to be spatially somewhere, but that's for me. Okay, that's for me so that I know where he is and I can create a line of communication to him, which is just a passageway for us to converse.
Mm.
So he would like to do the demonstration. Is this a good time to do the demonstration,
Yes,
Raman? Is it
let's
good?
do it.
Yes?
I'd be
Okay.
honored. Yeah.
All right. Now, everybody, like I said, what I'm going to do to set you up for this experience is this is a demonstration of me channeling Archangel Michael.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to talk about how I connect to him energetically at the beginning. I'm going to talk about what I'm feeling emotionally as I connect. All right. And then as he blends with me more and merges with me more, there's going to be a point where I have to give over to him totally.
Mm.
And it's at that point that I can't talk anymore and that the next voice will be his voice.
Mm.
And he will talk to you for a bit. And then after that, there's a process of me letting go of him and him letting go of me because we always practice healthy boundaries. I don't
Beautiful.
stay open to the spirit world all day long because I have to conduct my life. I have to do computer work. I have to make food. I have to pay the rent. I have to do things
Yeah.
like we all do. So, all right, now,
Oh, I just
okay,
love
everybody.
you. You do this so beautifully. You're so clear about it, and you just give such beautiful boundaries. So please continue. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to have a sip of water and then off we go.
Okay.
Okay. Now I close my eyes so that I'm very visual, so that helps me not to be stimulated by what I see anymore. And I'm going to come to my breath. And just start relaxing my body more, because we have to be relaxed to channel well. And there's a voice inside of me that goes, "Oy vey, we're going to channel for a group of people. I have no idea what Michael's going to say." And I recognize that voice. I say, "It's okay." And I bring my focus to Michael. And I told you where Michael usually is spatially. And I start to feel Michael's beaming of light. And I start to feel that good feeling. And it's like this elixir, this beautiful goldenness that starts to come through my body. And as I allow that, I simply relax and receive, calming myself. I can start to feel Michael beaming energy into my sixth and seventh chakras. I'm beginning to feel his wings on my back. Now, that's my religious upbringing, Catholic. I feel our psychic ability comes through our belief system. I believe angels have wings. Not everybody does. And as I'm going, now see, I came out of my connection to Michael. I noticed that, and I come back to the flow with him because I was talking too much. And I'm feeling Michael's joy. He's so happy to be doing this for all of you. He's so joyful with this. And as I feel him merge with me more, I can feel my energy field getting bigger and more expanded. My hand chakras are spinning like crazy. I can feel his energy. I'm going to start to let go a little bit more, back up a little bit more. My voice is getting softer as I let go. Now here's that threshold of fear. I have to just walk over that and let go, and his voice will be the next voice you hear. I am present with you now. I am Michael the Archangel. It is indeed true that I am just so joyous in coming to everyone right now. I encourage you to feel my energy, because as you hear my voice, my presence is there with you in your very room. It has been given to me by God as a job for me to assist people here on the planet Earth, to help you, to encourage you, to bring about stronger energy for you to know that you are okay here, that you belong in this time, in this space. Your soul has chosen this time on the planet Earth to be present. And it's not a light thing you are doing here. Your soul chose this because there's a lot going on. And the earth, people, humankind needs the light you bring, the spiritual level you bring. It is needed here. So if you ever question, why in the heck am I here now? It's because you are being of service, because your spirituality matters to you, because what you have to give is important. I urge you all to see your value, not just now as I am speaking it, but to see your own personal value as human every day, as often as possible. This is not ego born. No, no, no. This is you honoring your soul's presence within you. And if I were to give you any homework, which I'm very good at doing, I will tell you that. If I were to give you any homework from what I am to tell you today, it's to really go in to your soul and really forge a strong relationship with your soul, to get to know that presence that is so there. I always say, you are your soul, and your soul is you, for it is the truth. And when you truly know that your soul is there, and you remind yourself during your daytime hours and your nighttime hours, you remind yourself of the presence of your soul whenever you think about it. It becomes more and more real to you, something that is important for you, something that you value. And there is the word again, value. So valuing yourself, valuing the presence that you are soul, that actual fact, you are soul. Your soul is present with you. You are your soul. And that you have now the course of action to take to express your soul, to do what is needed as you take each step forward. And you know, in the spirit world, I must tell you this because most people don't know this. In the spirit world, we do not expect you to be perfect. Please hear me on this. We do not expect you to be perfect. We want you to live the life as best you can, to live the principles that you know that are near and dear to your heart, that make sense to you, that are important to you. And to always, from our viewpoint, to always value and love yourself. And I want to leave you with those expressions. I am so happy to have this time. Thank you, Raman. Thank you, all the people, behind the scenes people, for making this work. God bless you all. Now, we're going to give you an example of me leaving Diana's presence now. God bless you all. I am Michael the Archangel. Now, this is Diana. Again, I felt Michael pull out of me. It's kind of like taffy being pulled, you know, that feeling of energy being pulled out. But I can't open my eyes yet. I'm letting him go. And some of the clairsentient, that physical sensation from Michael is leaving. I feel that leaving. I'm not sad today. Sometimes I get sad letting go of Michael, but I'm not sad today. I'm feeling a joy, actually, a real joy that he was able to come and speak to you all. He's just such a beautiful light for people. And I want to thank Michael for coming. I'm just very grateful. Thank you, Michael, for taking this opportunity. Now I'm going to start to come back, but I'm going to look down because I feel extremely vulnerable right now, everybody, emotionally very vulnerable. So I'm just going to honor that and just kind of look down for a minute, just kind of gathering myself. Yeah, because you know, when we channel, we have to be so open, so vulnerable, so receptive, you know, to let that phenomenon happen, especially for groups of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Archangel Michael. That was absolutely gorgeous. I could feel the energy and the frequency. I was even trying to make sure, this is recording because I'm trying to make, but I just couldn't. Like I had to keep my eyes closed because I could feel the energy coming through. It was powerful. And what a beautiful message for humanity right now.
Yeah.
And thank
Yeah,
you
he
for
was
being so
just,
vulnerable. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, thank you. I had to laugh at him when he gave you all homework. That's so typical of him
Yeah.
as a teacher.
So that happens
Anyway,
often to receive homework like that from I think I
you
remember
do.
that from your
Oh, for
channeling
you
class.
too?
Yeah, from your channeling class.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, of course, sometimes I do get messages where it's like, sit with your amethyst or, it's just something
Yeah.
fun or even, sit with the bees today. I've been working a lot with bees recently, so that's
Ah,
been my homework, but I love that. It's so beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. Ah,
Oh.
well, Diana, how can people find you? I'm still in the channeling space, so I'm like trying to find words too. Because
Me too. I'm kind of spacey, so we'll be spacey together
we'll
here.
be spacey together. And you guys
We'll be
please
spacey.
comment below on how this made you feel. Um, Channeling is such a vulnerable thing to do. And it's such a
Yes.
sacred practice. So I treat it as such too, and I know Diana treats it as such. So,
Yes.
just hats off to the people who do it right, like you, Diana, who really create a powerful space and bring the energy so powerfully, onto the planet. And may, all the people who received it today get all the benefits from it. And I would love to hear from you guys below how this made you feel. And this is your first time with channeling, just sharing your experience honestly. Um, and and yeah, with that, Diana, I do want to kind of allow you to speak on how people can find you. Is it through your website? I know you do one-on-one sessions, or you did when I lived in New York, but I don't know if you do them now. But yeah,
Yes.
so please let us know how we can find you, how people can find you.
Sure. I would love to. So you go to my website, which
Mhm.
is my full name, dianamuenzchen.com, and there's a lot of offerings there. What I would suggest a lot to your viewers is to subscribe to our weekly update
Oh,
because we have a lot of things going on. Like I said, the archangels are putting me, you know, to work here, creating these groups and so forth. So, and we have some free events for those of you, who are not making as much income as you'd like. We have a free channeling class coming up. That's on the weekly update. You can sign up for that. I mentioned the free Heal the Earth group that we have support groups that meet. We meet with the archangels. There's different elements that are free, and then there are some, where you do pay a fee. We have an Archangel Light Lessons group, and we have Soul Meditation where Michael's teaching people. These are monthly groups of light lessons, and also the Soul Meditation teaching people how to connect with their soul and channel with their soul. Archangel Michael's leading that monthly. But it's the website. I don't really do a lot of social media, you guys. Sorry. I'm old school, but the website and also the weekly update. If you go to the bottom of a web page, subscribe, and then you'll be kind of in tune with all the offerings we're doing. Yeah.
and I highly recommend Diana, like highly, highly recommend Diana. For any of my clients who are watching, please reach out if you're interested in this type of psychic development. Diana is like the truest teacher of this art form that I've met in this way. Like her book, the Heart of Channeling, she actually gifted to me after our first session. And I was so touched by that, because you saw it when I didn't see it, the channeling, and when I brought one of the beautiful goddesses through, and it helped me so much tuning into that book. So definitely check out that book. I think it's on Amazon too, right? The Heart of Channeling, is it?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually have, there are two books. So it's Channeling the Heart and the Art,
Oh, the Heart
and
and the
then Know Your Soul, Bring Joy to Your Life. Yeah,
right, that
yeah,
one.
it's
Okay.
yeah. So, those two are on Amazon. And then, just to answer your question, the one-on-one sessions I do are, channeling coaching, healing. I do evidential mediumship,
Mm.
channeling, answering questions and helping people understand answers to their questions. And let's see, healing. I think that's about it. Healing with archangels. We do personal healing for people. Yeah, I think that's about
Yeah.
it.
Right. And that's so beautiful that you offer, so many free events for people to tune into her work. So please take up on those offers. They're amazing. And it's good to be around community like that too. So you meet other folks who
Yes.
are doing this work. When I moved away from NYC, I think I kept, in touch with Diana through the newsletter. And I loved seeing messages from Archangel Michael. Like she would leave little quotes at the bottom that I would look forward to almost like
Oh,
every other
yes.
day. And so there's like such beauty in the messages in the newsletter too, and you get Archangel Michael's codes through that. So I deeply, highly recommend you tune into that because this is the real deal. Um, I'm already feeling the energy. That's why I'm kind of like whew, floating. But
Yes.
Diana, is there anything else you would like to share with the viewers as we close for today? But I think you're going to be here. Like, I want you, if you're open to, you can be a guest and come back anytime for any
Oh, I
topic,
would love that.
because we'd be happy to have you be part of this community and to be one of the teachers of this community. So thank you.
Oh gosh, Raman, thank you. What a beautiful invitation. I'll take you up on that immediately.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm around. I'm around if if you want to do that again. I'm just trying to think. Let me see if there's anything else. Actually, you know what? Let me ask the guides if there's anything
Mm,
else that they want to recommend. Yeah, one of the things they're saying as a message for your community is that, that for us, just taking a few minutes every day to just be quiet and just be. Michael's actually, we have ongoing channeling classes in our school. We have a beginning basic workshop and then ongoing channeling classes, and there's different levels in those classes. And he's teaching us how to be, just be. And I know for some of us in certain spiritual circles, that is really a goal, a prize, not a goal, not a prize, but a goal. A goal for us spiritually is to just be in the moment. And the guides are saying they would recommend that we try and do that. Even for a few minutes in our day, it will calm our nervous system. It will redirect things. It'll sort of reboot us, they're saying. So
oh, such a beautiful
I think
message. I'm gonna also take heed of that and like sit in silence after our
me too.
podcast because I just feel the beautiful energies that you blessed us with. I feel so much more calmer and relaxed and open. It's so expansive, isn't it? Being in the spirit
Yeah,
world and in this
it is.
beautiful, mystical, supportive energy. Diana, thank you for being a channel of pure light on this planet, for being a guiding light, for being a teacher who shows the path with such deep integrity, and authenticity, and for being so vulnerable. Because I also know as a channeler how hard it is to show up for thousands of people to go through this vulnerable, sacred experience. And I hope today you felt held by this container, and we would love to have you back. But I am just so in awe of you and can't wait to create more and collaborate more.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And so please reach out to Diana, and I'm going to link everything below. And it was so wonderful having all of you here with us today. I would love to hear
Yes.
from you. I read all your emails. I'm also going to post Diana's information if you want to reach out to her. She's a beautiful person to get mentorship from, to get sessions from. And please keep coming back because my goal in life is to bring beautiful people like Diana on to a stage, a bigger stage, because I think it's time now to get authentic healers back online, and so I really hope you got just what you needed from today's conversation, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.